how do you justify the cuts in benefits while pensioners still get winter fuel allowances and free passes? So free bus passes, triple lock pensions, free money from pensioner bonds. Why is there a generational inequality?
Well, we talk about pensioners in the abstract. These are our grandparents. These are our grandparents. And a lot of them have worked hard, they've saved, and this is a way of sort of making sure that in their retirement is a dignified one.
But a lot of people get the winter fuel allowance who clearly don't need it.
One of the reasons is we've had very low interest rates, which has been great for people who've got mortgages, but it's particularly hit those who are on fixed incomes and are saving very hard, and they tend to be the elderly. So the government made a realistic assessment that for our grandparents will make sure that they can preserve some of those benefits.
But why not means test some of them?
For younger people, but doing that doesn't mean that the government is against younger people. I mean, the biggest thing we can do for young people is to create the opportunities so that people coming out of school get the jobs they require. Today, there are 1 million more people in good and outstanding schools. We had an apprenticeships, a vocational path, where when we got an independent review, 96% of the qualifications that young people were working hard were getting were not really fit for purpose in terms of the job market. What we've done is we've corrected that. And then in terms of helping young people get on the housing ladder.
OK, let's get some reaction from the audience.
Yeah, lady here, please. You just put your hand down, but you don't want to speak now?
No, I do.
Go on.
You talked about there being more jobs for 16 to 25-year-olds, but isn't it a record high for unemployment for 16 to 25-year-olds?
It's the opposite. It's at an 8-year low. So
but it's about 3 times higher than the national average, though. Youth unemployment. Youth
unemployment is at an 8-year low. There's no other way of looking at it. That is a resounding success.
It's 500,000 lower than it was in 2010.
Hang on. We'll get a microphone to you. Go on.
Youth unemployment in BME backgrounds is not at an all-time low. How do the Conservatives plan to support young people from disadvantaged backgrounds? You're giving me all these stats of apprenticeships and better job opportunities when you come out of university. What is it that you're going to do which provides these better opportunities? Because at the moment, I don't really see it. And apprenticeships has fallen since the Conservatives have been in power. The amount of people taking up apprenticeships has actually fallen from when Labour were in power. So how do you plan to make BME backgrounds get into the workplace and get better jobs?
Ian, what do you think the Conservatives should be doing?
I think the sad fact is there is still a problem of discrimination, not just against people with BME background. Look at the employment statistics for people with disabilities, people with learning difficulties, which are far worse. 1 in 7 people, I think, only with learning difficulties who want a job have a job. The proportion of people with disabilities who are working is about half the population, as opposed to nearly 3/4 of people without disabilities. There are issues that society as a whole needs to resolve. I think it's about changing attitudes, it's about improving education, it's about a whole raft of things. There's no one simple answer. But against it, at the end of the day, the most important thing is to have a thriving economy. And if we don't have a thriving economy, we can't achieve any sort of social justice or social change. And that is the most important rock upon which everything else stands.
OK, Louisa.
Like, from an employer's point of view, I'm currently trying to recruit and cannot find anyone. But so I'm, as an employer, I've got a job. I've got a job.
Loads of employees, Louisa.
And literally, it's so hard to find people. And I also think just, personally, probably shouldn't say this, but I always say the wrong thing, is I would rather employ someone that didn't go to university than has been and waste, in my opinion, sometimes, I'm sure you've all got lovely degrees. I'd prefer someone with a vocational degree to do a vocational job. If someone works for me, I'd prefer them to come out of school from 16, come and work for me and work my way up. The girl that now runs my business, I've just made her director, she's gone into partnership with me, she's 24 years old, she's worked for me since she was 18. And I would rather have someone like that than someone that's fannied around and got drunk at uni for 3 years and knows nothing about life. You know, I would, and that's an employer saying that. If I have 2 CVs and I interview both of them and someone comes in and to me they've got no life experience, I will go for the person without the degree.
OK, Toby?
It's just flat out wrong to say that this government has done nothing for young people. It's created 2 million new apprenticeships. Over 2 million jobs have been created in this parliament. More jobs have been created in Yorkshire than in the whole of France. And it's not right to say that those aren't proper jobs either. Of the jobs created last year, 80% of them were proper full-time jobs, and 2/3 of them were at middle management level or above, high-paying jobs.
Oh, yeah, go on.
No, it's not wrong.
I have to disagree. If you look at the labour force survey, and go back to Q2, the second quarter of 2010, you see that the growth in jobs, 45% of that has come from part-time and self-employed jobs. When the government talks about an 80% rise in employment, that includes the self-employed.
But it's good that our government is encouraging people to be entrepreneurial.
Hang on. Let her finish, please, Louisa.
Their real wages have decreased by 22%, according to the Resolution Foundation. So is this really about creating good jobs, or is it just about creating low-paid, unrewarding work that can give our politicians a very nice stat after 5 years?
As I said, more than 80% of the jobs created in the last year have been proper, full-time, well-paying jobs. More than 75% of the jobs created in the course of this parliament have been proper, full-time jobs.
It's good that
I'm self-employed.
It's indicative of underemployment.
It's good that our government is encouraging a young generation to be entrepreneurial. It's not a bad
But these aren't entrepreneurs.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, come to you now.
I can't hear when you haven't got a mic.
Go on, Rita.
Our contracts have increased, so has employment. So are you trying to say that Tories are all about stats, or are they talking about re-employment?
Hang on, hear from Toby, please.
The Office of National Statistics carried out a survey to see what percentage of jobs in the economy were zero-hours contracts, and the answer is 2.3%. It's a Labour Party red herring. They're always bringing up zero contracts. I was employed on a zero-hours contract, and I was actually prevented from working for anyone else whilst being employed on that zero-hours contract, and that employer was The Guardian. And this government has made it illegal. This government's made it illegal for employers who do employ people on zero-hours contracts to say they can't work for other people.
Okay, yes, Lisa.
I've got 2 points to make here. I was on a zero-hours contract at the end of 2 years ago. I had 3 hours of work in 4 months because an employer was allowed to take that option to not give me any work. I couldn't go and get another job because I didn't know whether I was going to have. I didn't know. I was called with 2 hours' notice to go and start bar work for a night, and then would never be called for another month. The second point I'd like to make is in general about the policies. It's great that we're making jobs, we're making apprenticeships. What about the cost of housing and living? We've got a report recently. We've got this report right here, the policy that the government wants to impose as taking housing benefit away from 18 to 21-year-olds on JSA is going to actually cost them money. The Conservative estimates that we've used, using the data that's readily available, we've used those statistics, and we've turned it around. And actually, you're not going to make any money. The 120 million you're estimating is going to be shot to 3 to 5 million at best.
All right, so Sam, your response to that? He's saying it doesn't, like the sums don't add up.
Just quickly, if you may, the question that the previous lady asked about was about what are we doing to help BME people get jobs. And I would say that what we're doing there is the same as what we're doing to help all young people get jobs. And there are two things we need to do. The first thing we need to do is to make sure that young people have the skills that employers value. And that is about high-quality apprenticeships, high-quality degrees, and good education system. The second thing is to make young people attractive to employers. And that is why national insurance for young people, employers' national insurance for young people has been cut, so employers are incentivized to take more young people and give them work.